So 5 or 6 years ago, of the many times my life was in total and utter disarray, I had nothing going on. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd failed at the last thing that I tried. And one of my first mentors, Alex, had a podcast, and I met him through my mom. And basically, we came to an agreement that I was going to help him with his show, with his podcast, and that he was going to coach and mentor me in exchange. I obviously couldn't afford his services as a coach. He's incredible. I love him to death. He's also very good at what he does. I couldn't afford that type of guala. So we had an exchange. I was working on the show. And in the beginning, basically what I did was I did the video editing, audio editing, and I tried show notes. And after a while, I was like, I hate this. And so I went to Alex and I was like, hey, Alex, I hate this. I'm just not doing great at it. I wonder if instead of the video editing, audio editing, I could try to get guests for the show. And he's like, I hate that you do it too. Great. And he said, yeah, that would be much better than what you're doing now. He was nicer. But that's kind of what it was like. And so basically what I did, I got very lucky at that time on Instagram. I just started cold DMing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that, one, I thought were interesting, two, had good stories, people I kind of looked up to on social media. And this time, 5-6 years ago, there was no filters on Instagram. So I know now you go primary, general, blocked, extra blocked. I was get one-to-one connections with people I thought were really cool, doing amazing things, athletes, entrepreneurs, investors, people that just do crazy shit online, world record holders of whatever. And they were just like, I connected, wrote a personalized messages. You can't fake this stuff. I wrote personalized messages saying what I like about them, what I noticed, love to get them for a show, blah. And I got ignored a piss load. But I got a lot more responses than you'd ever really think, because I was just sending so many, so volume matters. But I was also very genuine, and so I was getting on Zooms. One of the cool ones I say is, I had to tell the story. I was like, oh, I know this guy. His name's Joe Foster. That name doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but he's the founder of Reebok. And they're like, what? That blows their head off. Anyways, so I started just building a huge Rolodex, putting people on podcasts, doing shows, working with Alex and helping him launch the show, the Dream Mason podcast. Well, he'd already launched it, and I was just doing the booking for it. And so I got a lot of practice talking to people on Zoom before the COVID, and just talking to people doing so much cool things. It kind of helped me like temper it myself and learn how to talk to people, quote unquote, above my pay grade, and kind of learn to have those conversations on equal footing, which has really helped me out today. But I did that for so long. I'd booked hundreds of guests over different shows, and that was all well and good, but I was at the point where, okay, I know a bunch of people, I can put something with them, that's it. I can put them on podcasts, I can talk to them. I am entirely too unbuttoned. And that was it. So then a later mentor, 2 or 3 years ago, was helping me build some stuff out, and I was like, here. So I put something together. I was like, here's how I think I can monetize what I'm doing with podcasts. So I wrote it all out, spent a bunch of time. I presented it to him. 10 minutes on the whiteboard. I'm boom, 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 writing it all out. He sat there. He's like, quiet the whole time, just listening. And I was like, okay, that's it. What do you think? And he was like, and he slammed the desk. He was looking at me, slammed the desk. I hate it. And he pointed me in the eyes, and he's like, yeah, I hate it. And I was like, and he's like, here's what I would do. And then he goes on the whiteboard. 45 minutes later, he wrote it out. And what that turned out to be was, in short, I was kind of like a super connector, right? Putting people together and helping them build relationships. What I was doing was I was helping people, one, launch podcasts, or two, people with podcasts get really good guests on their shows who, one, help boost the audience, build the show, build traction, build email lists, get downloads and viewers up. But at the same time, they were potential clients, people who could become business on the back end. So I started partnering with podcasts and booking, because I already had this huge Rolodex of people that were just sitting there waiting to be on podcasts. This was a few years ago, mind you. Podcasts have gotten a lot bigger and worse, or better since then, hard to say. So that's what I started doing. I started getting clients who have everything set out. They got the show. They don't really need money. They have the show, and they do the production end, and they need podcasts, and they need the guests, which is the hard part for a lot of people. Some people, they have the show, they have all the guests and a bunch of friends. They don't know how to do editing. They don't know for production, how to get on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever. I connect them with those people. And so I kind of started working both ends. I've got people who want to be on podcasts, so I started connecting them to shows, and I've got podcasts who want guests, and I started putting guests on the show. And I did that just for a retainer fee. And I did that for a long time, so that like my media company was basically just filling podcasts up with guests, getting guests on shows. And that's kind of how it all started, really randomly. It's a testament that you never know what's going to become valuable to you and how it's going to really work out in the end. That's kind of what I do and how I got started.